What do you get when you combine the retro look and feel of Zelda Link's Awakening, the difficulty and gameplay of Dark Souls, and the amazing soundtrack work by Kaufman? Well, you get one of the best games of 2026. Hello everyone and welcome to the Good Game Lobby review of Mina The Hollower, the new IP by Yacht Club Games, best known for the Shovel Knight series. They raised over $1.2 million for the Kickstarter campaign for Mina, had 20,000 plus people who backed it, and in the first few weeks of its release had sold 500,000 copies. Let's jump into how they use nostalgic principles to make one of the best games of the year. So who's Mina and what's going on in this world? Mina is the inventor of Spark technology, which powers the world she lives in. She is also a Hollower, which is a guild of characters dedicated to the study of Earth. She is sent a letter by Thorn, who informs her that something terrible has befallen the world. Someone is destroying the world's Spark generators. This introduction to the world and characters is brief because before you know it, the ship is attacked by a monstrous octopus, stranding Mina and her deceased crew on the shore. The spark generators are out, you suspect foul play, and you're on your way to meet your friend Lionel Barron to get to the bottom of what is happening and how to get the generators back up and operational. The characters you meet, the open world you explore, and what you learn along the way will make for a truly unforgettable experience. When it comes to the gameplay, it may feel familiar to Zelda's Link's Awakening. Still, the sheer amount of trinkets, weapons, and upgrades make it less linear and truly a personal experience. That is why, early in the game, I highly recommend looking out for secret areas and exploring every corner of the space you're in. When I've played so many games in this space, some of the secrets almost feel second nature. Yacht Club clearly knew that would happen, so they went out of their way to add in places you can easily miss without focusing on your surroundings. It reminds me a bit of Tunic, with areas that are hidden by viewing angles. The fact that you can burrow is something you should keep in mind at all times. You use this to burrow under items to pick them up, avoid enemy attacks, and find hidden areas. It's the definitive mechanic that makes Mina stand out above the others. At the start, you're given a choice between a pair of daggers called Whisper and Vesper, a mace on a whip called Nightstar, my personal favorite, and the hammer called Blast Strike Maul. In total, the game has 5 weapons, but these are the starters. Make sure to pick what's best for you because it'll be some time before you can acquire more of them. You have these aforementioned trinkets, which you will find in hidden chests or found after solving puzzles. They will increase the damage of your weapons, abilities like attacking as you come up from underground, or even increasing your health. These trinkets are plentiful, but you need to upgrade slots to carry more than one. At times you can combine certain trinkets that play well off of each other. Taking damage increases attack power and can also send out projectiles. This is where your own personal style can shine. You're also given a secondary attack like flying daggers or axes. They will also have buffs that come from these trinkets. You can become completely OP by connecting certain trinkets with certain secondary attacks to make Mina an unstoppable force. Mina the Hollower is an open world game, meaning you can go pretty much anywhere in the world, but you don't have a map to guide you. This is something I've seen others complain about, but oddly enough, I never thought about it until way late in the game when I was lost. I didn't attempt to use the map at all, but it didn't really exist when I did. You do have an option late game to upgrade the map, and even then, I passed on it. Defeating enemies and finding chests are jam-packed with bones, which is your currency. These bones are used to upgrade your attack or your defense. I recommend you do this as soon as you can, whenever you can upgrade one of these stats. These bones are your main currency, so shop owners around the town, or secretly hidden around Tenebral Isles, will trade with you. The world is set up like a Soulslike. It's not just in the difficult bosses, but also losing your currency of bones every time you die. And instead of a bonfire, you have an underground base of operations for exchanging weapons, upgrading your stats, and selecting new trinkets. Keep in mind, the trinkets can only be changed out in your hideout. It kind of works out because every time you die from a boss, you'll end up in your hideout, checking your trinkets and seeing what works best to defeat this enemy. The customization and upgrades, even for your hideout, grow as you meet older guild members who are some of my favorite NPCs in the game. The movement is very much like Link's Awakening. You'll press down on the D-pad to move down, but sometimes if you're just slightly to the left, you'll move to the left. So you have to time your attacks and your movement with every jump and burrow that you do. This type of controlling of the character is intentional. It's not supposed to be easy. Patience is always key in a Soulslike, and I recommend keeping your cool. Also, don't be stubborn. Go into your trinkets, check them out. If you're getting defeated from a boss, change what you have, see what works, change it again, keep iterating on what you have. For example, I had 2 deaths in the game, almost the whole entire playthrough. I was not getting defeated anywhere I went. I was unstoppable. Until I met a boss that kicked my ass over and over and over again. And instead of going and changing my trinkets or maybe my secondary weapon, I just kept going in because I liked the loadout I had. I liked the way I was moving. So even though it did work out in the end, I added 60 more deaths to my total. I went from 2 to 62 within one boss battle. Don't be like me, change your trinkets, check your secondary weapons, and have fun. What a visual treat. Yacht Club Games has a knack for this type of visual identity. With countless releases in retro styles, you'd think that it'd be easy to make a top-down Zelda-like game, but the attention to detail is unmatched. For example, the art assets in Mina The Hollower all follow the Game Boy Color's palette restrictions. So what does that mean? They've limited the sprites to only 4 colors for an 8x8 tile. You also have to keep in mind that this is sprite art without 3D elements. This is how they kept that classic 8-bit look and feel. They've studied some of the best tricks to create 3D looks with 2D designs. This shows most in those areas where you need to climb towers, and you have a 3D effect as you rotate around the tower. Character portraits are also highlighted in the game in pixel art, but seeing the original illustrated designs and how they used minimal pixel design to create them is some wizardry. Mina's soundtrack is a nostalgic romp around the Game Boy handheld. It felt like it was ripped straight from the cartridges, and that makes sense because it's using the Game Boy sound chip combined with the Konami sound cartridge. You can read more about it in the description below, where I'll link Jake's Bandcamp page. Jake has worked on previous titles for Yacht Club Games from the Shovel Knight series like King of Cards, Dig, and Pocket Dungeon. If you're familiar with any of the Shovel Knight games, you will enjoy this one. Those sound profiles are crunchy, the bass is loud, and some of the highs almost screech, giving the complete package of vintage songs. Considering how well the game looks in a high-definition style Game Boy game, the music matches it perfectly. All of the percussion on the Game Boy cartridges has this synth touch to it that doesn't sound exactly like a drum that I appreciate. Hearing the complexity of the songs arranged in a way that they may not have been able to work on the original hardware speaks to how well Jake utilizes every aspect of the soundtrack. It's no wonder that Yuzo Koshiro was asked to make 2 tracks for the soundtrack. But one more thing I want to highlight is something that was very emotional that Jake shared on the Bandcamp page. Jake dedicated 9 songs to close family members he lost during Mina's development. Imagine this was at the beginning of COVID, and it's been 6+ years pouring your personal life into your work. I want to share what Jake wrote on the Bandcamp page about his work on the game. Quote, I feel unending gratitude and love for my teammates at Yacht Club Games, who stood by me through my most challenging times, believing in me when I doubted myself. Working with them gives me purpose, and they are a constant source of inspiration. I really want to feature the whole entire soundtrack. It has some of the best songs this year, but what I'm going to go with is my personal favorite. Check it out and let me know what you think in the comments. Mina The Hollower is a must-play game. My review won't go into all the details, but I do hope I have at least given you enough to try it out. When I hear a game is inspired by Zelda, my ears perk up, but when they mention Link's Awakening specifically, it's a guarantee I'll play it. That being said, for any devs or studios listening to this review, this is your duty to reach out to me right away with your Zelda-likes. It was why I was so drawn to the development of Color Graves Veritas, and was blown away by Pipistrello and the Curse Yo-Yo. Though those games came close, Mina feels like I was playing a natural successor. It's so close to the original game with a fresh take on the genre and with more in-depth lore and character world building. Dark Souls-like difficulty in the gameplay added another level I wasn't sure I would enjoy, but considering last year my game of the year was Silksong, I guess I do enjoy being punished in these Souls-like games. I always set out to have a well-rounded review with a few critiques of the games I love, but it's difficult because I love this game. Even the fighting difficulty was a skill issue on my part. It was nothing to do with the game at all. And not having a map, didn't really have a problem with that either, to be honest with you. Without being corny, Mina The Hollower burrowed its way into my heart. And with New Game Plus and a host of other secrets I keep seeing on social media, it feels like one I'll visit again and again. If the history of Yacht Club Games, many spin-offs from Shovel Knight, is any indication, I can only imagine we'll be treated to more Mina games in the future. Absolute delight, and 24 hours to complete the main game flew by to me. I still have a few trinkets to discover and more bones to collect in the process. Also, another thing that I wanted to touch on was the accessibility options. There are a ton of them. The menu is filled to the brim with ways to make the game easier or more difficult. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that you will lose the in-game achievements if you use these settings. I was testing for this review and I messed up my save file, so make sure to copy your save file so you can test this out and then go to the main save file and continue to get those achievements. There's tons where you don't receive any damage, so you can just play through without having that Souls-like difficulty and just enjoy the Zelda aspects of the game. This studio's already cemented itself as the retro stars of indie gaming. I played on the Nintendo Switch 2, which it ran beautifully on. It's also out for Switch 1, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Linux, macOS, and Steam. It's on just about everything. Thanks to the folks at Guillotine, especially Jake, who helped me out to get the key on release day. And thank you so much for watching this review of Mina The Hollower. Make sure to check out the links in the description so you can join our Discord gaming club where we play a new game every month, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're looking for more games that I reviewed this year, check out the playlist on your right. And if you want to see my top games from last year, check out the playlist on your left. Thanks, and as always, GG.